you planning on riding the festive 500 challenge over this Christmas? And you want one of those roundels, the ones that Rafa used to give away but don't anymore? No worries, Harrison Fund are doing them if you raise £100 towards research into Duchenne disease. Here we see Nick Pelsig with two sons, both suffering from it, who won't reach adulthood. Just ride 500 kilometres, raise £100 and get the badge. Why not sign up now? Right, here we are. It's the last West London VR race of 2021. It's our Christmas party race. So I hope you're all ready. Got your Christmas hats on and some Christmas party music playing in the background. Make sure you've got a good tempo on the music so that you're pedalling at the right tempo. No point having the ballad on and losing the race, eh? Just under 15 kilometres of fast and furious racing coming your way. This is almost flat. It is, as we shall see in a minute, north of Heathrow Airport on an area that one day could be the third runway. You can see Heathrow Airport on the right there. We're riding through what is relatively undeveloped land for London, just that last little bit to the turn. It's a there and back course. There's one deviation here just at Tipson. All these villages will disappear if they do build a third runway there, and then back to Longford for the finish. You can see the airport there on the right with the two runways either side, and we're to the left, where one day there may be a third runway. So this race is called the third runway. A lot of West London cyclists use this little route as a nice little cut through, so they don't have to drive through or ride through built up areas. And so it's kind of known, quite well known in the area. There's a little monument along the way to Barnes Wallis, who was a very notable air engineer of various sorts. He invented the bouncing bomb, which is famous during World War II. And the other notable little landmark, apart from the Dirty Great Big Airport there, is we do pass Queen's Park Rangers training ground, which is probably about where you see, it's towards the northern end of the route, just on the left. They won't be training there today. They've had all their matches postponed because some of the players have got COVID. So the sporting activity in this part of London this evening will be all you guys virtually riding this very flat race. Now, I have to say that it's getting very exciting. I think we're wide open at the top of the standings of this series, and the teams too, so a lot to ride for. If we look at the standings, we can't look at them, but Beata Clays, Ned Bowen, John Sammett, Carlos Sella, Yared Miller, James Melville from Glasgow, Jan Linden and James Curry, all well within a shout, as is Matthias Bergqvist and Alistair McAlpine. Let's not rule out Mario Svedas. Nick Greenhalgh a little bit down, but he has missed a race. On the teams, we are looking at a very close contest at the top between Pokemotion, Moon Riders, Glasgow United, Ratio Racing, Watford Velo. Then come the three Southborough District Wheelers teams, with Southborough Bees very much in contention and could be title winners. They're not out of it by any means yet. Ninth we have Satellite Riders, which is the old Moon Riders 2 team. Then Westerly's 1 team, Twickenham's 1 team. Twickenham haven't, they joined the series late, so they're a little bit behind, but catching up. Westerly 2, Team Sands, unfortunately those guys, because of the daylight savings, are not really participating. And Team Cameron and Twickenham's 2 team at the bottom. Twickenham's 2 team is actually a ladies team, and they have, I think tonight, a full quota for the first time, and that's brilliant. And very quickly on the ladies standings, Claire Miller and Lisa West of Twickenham leading it, Ellen Lockett in 3rd place, Karen Bailey, Claire Thompson again from Twickenham, Joanne Maltby, all in the running. But we have some new riders tonight, and remember ladies, it's only the best 6 races that count. Now we have started, and we're 19 kilometres into the race. We can see it's fairly bunched. This usual sort of 19 kilometres, 0.19 of a kilometre, I should say. this usual bunch, and we've got a leader off the front from Moon Riders, I should say. Sorry, in that Moon Riders jersey, Vitek Rustek, who's in the Moon Riders team. It's he's actually in the satellite one, I think today. I could be wrong. Portuguese Pinot just behind him, aching in third. I hope you're not aching afterwards. I'm sure you've heard that joke 1,000 times. We can see a few people just struggling to keep up with that first bunch there. It does sort itself out. This will be fast. 37, 38 at the moment. Slightly +3. It's not a gradient of any note. I think the peloton is just about now formed. I think the people in it are there to stay, and you can see the ones that drifted off the back would have drifted off the back. Kirsten Edge there for Denmark. Denmark put in some pretty strong riders. I can see Carlos Sellers in that group. Suds there, Kader Aluni, who else? Jared Miller I see in there. Vergoot, Hammond. Yeah, see, these are people you'd expect to see there. Goff as well, riding for Southborough. Southborough, you can also be Ratio Racing. It's Nick Greenhalch, local guy. Nick actually went out and rode this course in real life a week ago, I think. He's putting out 400 watts there, as we can see at the bottom, and he's riding at 42 kph. Now, this is probably not, as I always say in these commentaries, about creating a breakaway. This is actually about sifting a few people off the back, because when the pressure goes on at the front, you find a few people just get caught out and drift off as it starts to rain. This is Britain, of course, and it is winter. Doug Hart off the front there, now putting on the pace. Oh, that's impressive. 7th place there. You can see Anna Ronkanen. That is one of the lady riders, and she is absolutely powering. That's fantastic. She can clock up a good set of points here. So if Anna can keep in that, I think she's going to put herself in a good place in the Ladies' Championship. Now, the Ladies' Championship, just to explain to you, is slightly different. What we do is extract the points the ladies score, and then just put there she is, Anna Ronkanen. She's from Finland, as you can tell by the flag. She was recently in some of the echelon races, and she rode very well in those. I'm not sure where she is in the table. I think she's sort of 2nd or 3rd in the league in the echelon community series. So she is a strong international rider, and there she is sitting in the pack. If you can sit in the pack in this, I mean, I'm not a great rider, but I've certainly done these races. And look at all those Moon Riders jerseys. What was that? 6 Moon Riders jerseys in that little bunch. Yeah, if you can stay in these bunches, you can ride at quite ferocious speeds, well above your normal talent. I should suggest Andy Beale up there in the purple jersey for Westerly, and he's getting some good results recently. He's doing very, very well. That's probably John Semmert in the white jersey with the blue shorts, I would guess. Southborough there, the yellow, black and red jersey to look out for. Moon Riders, as we've pointed out before, is that green and white. Ratio Racing is the black with it. Casper Hederdum is off the front now, and he's gained 20 metres on Jared Miller and Kader Alumi just behind him. And the Danish rider really putting on some power here, 41 kph. Just under 300 watts, and he's going to get caught in a minute. Greg Barnett, I think. Oh no, it's Doug Hart, isn't it? Sorry, Doug Hart's just gone in front. So Kader Alumi chasing just behind him as well, and Sago Barrett in there as well. Nick Greenhalch in 5th place. So I don't know how many riders are absolutely in this bunch, but we have 78 riders in the race. Now we look back here. We have Stuart Thorne, Tim Cummings, and Ellen Lockett, who I know, and Lee. I want to say Lee Van Rees, but unfortunately, it's probably not Lee at all, is it? But it just does sound like Lee Van Cleef, the old Hollywood. Ellen Lockett, a local rider for us, and she actually she's got a damaged hand from an accident. As I see Jack Samways for Watford Velo pushing away from this group here. That's quite strong to do that on your own. Going back to Ellen, she's got a wrist that's damaged from an accident, and she can't ride on drops and has to ride on high handlebars. And even sitting up, she is quite a powerful rider, I have to tell you, and she put in a sterling result last time in her very, very first race, and she's back again for more. We'll see how that pans out in the ladies' race. I think Anna Ronkanen is going to score a massive amount of points if she can stay in that front group, though. Will depend on the sprint, and remember, with a big sprint at the front, you can be sort of a margin off the front, but 40 places back, so we'll see how that pans out. Anna's still up there, look at that, 24th place, but this is a big bunch. I mean, we're looking at 50 odd riders in that bunch with 78 on the road. So 28 out of... There's a live leaderboard. Oh, this is a new feature. This is fantastic, isn't it? Look at this. I do like this. It takes a lot of the work out of it for me, doesn't it? It's and we can look further back. There's Paul Hinson in there. Gillies, I'm just trying to. It keeps changing so much because people are moving around in the peloton. To just Johan Olofs's in there today for Sands. That's fantastic news. It might be because of Christmas. I was just saying that the Sands team, that SANZ, stands for South Africa, New Zealand. South Africans who live in New Zealand, and because of daylight saving times and where they are in the world, these 6 o'clock races, these 7:30 races, are ideal for them in the summer, but it doesn't quite work in the winter. I suspect Johan's got up at some godly hour or something and made an effort because it's Christmas and he's probably not got so many work commitments. I speculate. Daniel Nilsberg from Germany, pushing out just under 300 watts, sitting nicely in the peloton there in the orange jersey. And Daniel's been around. I think Daniel came third in one of the earlier series of this and has the trophy to prove it. Kevin Amsworth there, and just gone into the lead actually. Kevin, another regular rider in these West London VR races. Now we're 5 kilometres into it, and we're having a little look further back. About 64, Wendy Wonderwheels, she calls herself, is one of the new riders. Rob Blackburn's in there, Twickenham, another. Right, Mike Buckhurst is there. Wendy Wonderwheels, who we see 300 watts. I mean, this is pretty impressive stuff. She's making now. This is a smart thing to do. You know, she rides for OTR, as you can tell by the kit. There are 2 OTR riders in there. This is the thing to do. You don't worry if you get dropped off. You have your own little race with this. And one of the things we wanted to do with this was so that the ladies don't get strung out from small fields. By racing with the men, you can do exactly what Wendy's doing here and get your own mini race where it suits you at a comfortable pace, and you can sprint with these guys at the end, so you still get the fun of the sprint at the end. And of course, all the ladies should be aware that your points are scored in the overall race. So let's say she's in this bunch of 7 and she wins it, she'll be 7 places higher than if she gets last in this little bunch, and those extra 7 points will still count, even though it was scored against 6 men. They will still count in the women's trophy. So there's an incentive for women to have a good old sprint with the men, because every place gained is a points gained, albeit in the women's trophy. And of course, women are included in the GC too. So Jenko from Slovenia is the next one off the front in the orange jersey there, ahead of Kader Lumi. He's got 16 metres as we go around this bend. Kader chasing him down there. The Pokemotion rider, and Pokemotion wearing the GBR kit, as you can see there. Very not far off the England kit, is it? The England football kit, I should say. Kader Lumi taking up the lead now, and Rob, I see the peloton's not particularly hunting them down, but I think they'll just work their way up. It's 22 metres. It's a gap that's holding, and pretty impressive stuff actually if they can hold it. It's gone up to, well, it's gone up. Just as I say it goes up, it goes down. So be careful where we pick that sort of thing. But no, this is. Well, I've been caught now by Casper's head of them, and that's dragging. Now you can see what the effect is here. This is what I was talking about earlier. What happens here is it doesn't necessarily lose the peloton. But what it does, it puts a strain on the peloton, and you can see that peloton is not quite as bunched up as it was. Anna Rankin is actually putting in a fantastic performance here, just sitting on Nick Greenhalgh's wheels. In fact, she's saying, anything you can do, I can do better, Nick. And Nick responds, and Anna sits in the pack quite wisely. It is about having the sprint at the end. See James Melville in there. I always have to give a big shout out for Glasgow United CC. They always compete highly in the team competition, James putting out 400 watts there, as we can see, heart rate 165, cadence of just 66, which suggests he's riding a big ring there. And there he goes off the front, just to show off and let you know. So the Glasgow United riders, Alistair McAlpine, with him, is the other rider. They wear that GCN kit, and Jens Linden now on the front and the Pokemotion jersey, not for so much longer. I say Pokemotion jersey, it is the GBR one, but I'm pretty sure Jens isn't British. So we have Karen in there. So there's another Slovenian. I think that's a Slovenian flag, and as I say, this is going to probably hold together for most of the race now. We're 8.2 in. We've only got 16 left, so as you can see from the bottom, this is dead flat. The only way you're going to lose people off the back is just by putting pressure on the front. Now, Kasper Hedman likes to put pressure on the front. He's a rider who does this time and again in every race. It's his style, and he does cause damage. He is, you know, poor old people like me hanging on the back of these sorts of pelotons do struggle when Kasper's something on the front. And it's doing it again. You just see how it sort of thins out. The bunch just sort of comes into a long line there as it happens. As I say, I don't think we're going to lose many off this group before the end. Someone's going off the front now. It's Kasper's Hedman, of course. Who else? And Kevin Unsworth once again doing the chase down. Greg Barnett also in there. So something like 50 riders in this peloton. This is going to be one hell of a sprint. Now, of course, the sprint master, as you all know, is that James Melville going off the front. Again, the sprint master, of course, is James Melville going off the front again. You can see the route on the bottom right-hand corner. So this is where that's the turn, which we are now on the way back. And as I say, it's not quite the same on the way back. I did that little loop around the fields there. Just to sort of push the distance up. Now this is a shorter race than we normally do. We normally do 16k, but I just thought, you know, the way the roads were, that I wouldn't go and seek out another 1.5 kilometers to make up the distance. So this one's very, very short. It's going to be naturally fast because it's flat, and so it is well worth the good riders actually trying to shed a few people off the back if they can with the brakes. But I suspect that the size of this peloton at about 50 riders is probably just a little bit too big to do that. So Martin Wilson up there, Daniel Hirschberg, Mark Rowbottom, Pat Heron, David Buckley in third place for Westerly. David Buckley helps me out with the results. He should get a good shout out. I'm delighted to see you in the front group, David. He helps me out with the results. He processes them very quickly afterwards, and then I have to sort of go through and do lots of things with the teams and so on and so forth, and put together the website thing. But yeah, David has been with us since the beginning, and I think has ridden in every single one we've ever done. So he gets a big shout out. It's David Buckley currently in fourth place ahead of Pat Heron, Daniel Lujborough, Mark Rowbottom's in there, Jared Miller, and a few others. Kasper's still doing what he likes to do best, going off the front and causing havoc behind him. But I think this is just holding. This is a big peloton. Everybody's getting good benefit from the draft. Look at the effort Kasper's putting in. 400 watts. Just 4.2 kilometres to go. So there's probably somebody on the back of that peloton, and I know this from my own experiences, who's absolutely gasping and looking at it and thinking, I'm going to finish up with the winners, but might still finish 50th. But nevertheless, the joy I always get is I just look at my Strava results the next day, and everybody goes, "Wow, you really ride that fast?" And I omit to tell them that I sat in the back of a peloton this size. Gator Illumi now pushing off the front with Doug Hart, and who's that going? It's Nick Greenhouch in the Ratio Racing kit. As I say, Nick rode this himself recently. He didn't live that far away. As I say, I think he quite enjoyed the route, but he would have known it anyway, because if you live, particularly in the area he lives, it's a good cut out of West London and into the countryside. Not one I use so much, but I live in a slightly different area. So what will happen? Who do we fancy in the sprint? Well, Ned Bowen's the obvious one, isn't it? And this is the thing. Ned flies under the radar, and I am assuming that he's in this group somewhere, because that's what Ned does. He sits there and he just calculates a sprint at the end. Yes, Ned's in there. I can see him now. So he sits under the radar. We haven't seen Ned sort of poking his wheel out the front there at all. You know, he hardly gets mentioned in the commentary, and all of a sudden flies by everybody. Now he's just got the knack right, and it is about timing. You sit in the draft and you surge forward at the right moment, and if you do it at the right moment, the rider that you're doing it to will not be able to pick up the speed and match you. But if you do it too soon, they can. So it really is about experience. There's Ned actually. Now I said he never pokes his tyre out the front, and there he is in 6th place. You see, just trying to prove me wrong. I bet he's listening and did that on purpose. Good luck, Ned, if you are listening. Charming fella. I did a nice little interview on him before the end of the last series, which we put out on the West London Cycling YouTube channel. Absolutely fantastic bloke. He's been riding with us in these races for a long time. Finished first in Series 2 and second in Series 3, and I think is in very good contention, currently in 2nd place in Series 4 here. So look out for Ned. This is his type of race. I varied them up a bit so they're not all the same. I think the last one had an uphill finish, which doesn't suit Ned, so you know, everybody has their little chance. I think the Belgian guys like a little bit of a climb, and Wouter Clay's, as we see there, is 37th, and he's smart. He's sitting himself in the pack there. We haven't mentioned Wouter yet. He's the series leader at the moment, and the Belgian from Flanders, of course. There's Ned Bowen in the red kit. ID, I think it's his IDI. It's going to say it's not IDJ. Jared Miller, New Zealander, who lives actually in the UK in Hartenden, I believe. And he's off the front now in that splendid kit. I do like that kit. I was commentating on another race, not out of my series the other day, and that was the kit of the race. I'm sure it's just a standard one available on RGT, where you've got a great choice, of course, if you want to go in there. 1.7 kilometres to go. This is where it all hots up. Who is going to do what? Who's going to go too soon? Who's going to keep their powder dry? Where do you position yourself? You can see there's absolutely no one anywhere behind or within sight behind them, and the bunch is tightly packed. This is where everybody's calculating, I suppose virtually looking around, because you can't actually look in the whites of the eyes of the people next to you. We're just into the last little bends before we sort of really unfold. It's coming down to 1.2 kilometres to go. Nobody's showing their colours yet. Sometimes about now you get somebody who says, right, I'm going to go for it. Right, the Flamme Rouge is here. So who's out off the front? Is that Kevin? No, it's I'm not sure who that is off the front, but he looks like one of the Pokemotion riders. Now you can see it's hotting up a bit. People are positioning themselves to get on the front now. Casper heading them up there with Wouter Clays. These are people who, James Melville, these are people who've got their eye on the series. 800 metres to go. It's hotting up. The guys who want to win the series are positioning themselves. You can see the names in there, and there's some others who are just going to have an absolute ball, because Carlos Seller's in there coming up in the red on the left. We have the 3 orange jerseys on the left now, and who's that on pushing out at the front? Nick Greenhouse is in there up front. There's an OTR rider going off the front, or is it a Moon? Oh, it's Wouter Place, sorry, from Moon Riders, and Johan Orlovsky. Now, Johan does like to go off the front, but I think this is not going to be his day, because he likes a longer break than that. It's Jens Linden who's doing it for Pokemotion now. Pokemotion are doing very, very well. They're the team leaders at the moment. This will be good points. Doug Hart chasing hard. Doug Hart's going to take him, but somebody else is coming through as well. It's Jenko, the Slovenian, who's had some good results lately. And, oh, look at this. It's going to be Wouter Clays from Moonrise. Wouter Clays is going to cement his position at the top of the rankings. Absolutely fantastic. The Belgian did that style. And I don't even see Ned Bowen in the top 10, so I'm not really sure what's happened there. Great result for Johan Olofsson in 9th place. Mike Addy in 8th, Kader Lumi 7th, Pantirawski from Poland, Carlos Sella in 5th, Jenko having to settle for 4th. behind John Samet and Pokemotion. Pokemotion getting more points there, but as I say, Moon Riders without a place. Doug Hart, fantastic result for Doug there. And what have we got? I didn't look at the last couple of the 10, did I? James Curry from Southborough, fantastic. Now, James has had some good results, and that's a good jump. Ned Bowen had to settle for 12th, just behind Nick Greenhouse. Now, Nick Greenhouse and Ned Bowen were the two vying for the title last time. So, Jack Samways for Watford Velo. Watford wearing this kit. Watford participating for the first time this season. He's 50th, and he's 200 metres behind I suppose the finishers, isn't it? So 49 finishers in the bunch, I would assume, or 48. Jack Samways, best of the rest for Watford Velo. Now Watford, as I say, they're just participating for the first time this season as Jack comes home and joins the post-match chat with the fellow riders. I'm sure that doesn't actually happen. So what else have we got coming back? So here we are. We have the top 20. Mark Rowbottom in 20th. Jan Linden from Pokemotion right down there in 19th. Now just look at the time distances. From the winner in first, it was 0.9. It was 0.9 of a second right down to 20th, and it won't be much. There'll be a lot more. It won't be a lot more right down to 49th, I should imagine. That's how close it was. James Curry, fantastic result. Nick Greenhouse, 11th. Ned Bowen, 12th. Jared Miller from Harpenden. Val Tartveld. Marius Savelius, Daniel Nushberg from Germany, Matt Hammond, James Melville right down in 18th. James will be a bit disappointed with that. So let's have a look what we've got coming up. I'm interested to see where Anna Brunkanen finished, because we look at the ladies. Now Linda here is in, I'm just seeing there, Linda Van Dyke is, I'm going down to 30th. Anna Ronkanen, 26th, fantastic result. Just behind Scott Christian, Aussie King is the A King, Paul Hinton. Linda Van Dijk here for OTR. You can see in the little bunch in the bottom right hand. Now, she's got a vested interest in beating these guys. Rob Blackburn from Twickenham and I think it's Rob Gillingham, I might be wrong. Going back up to the top though, Stuart Gillies for Twickenham, Kevin Unsworth, 28th, Kristen Edge, Pokemotion. Right, so these three come into the last kilometre. I see Rob Blackburn from Twickenham is going to lead them out by the looks of things, and so I think we can assume this might be. I think Linda's playing smart here because she's 31st for Andrew Beale. Delighted for you, Andy, and Simon Hall from Watford, and Brian Vince. There's a Watford pairing there at 32nd and 33rd. Marianne Schuzlarek for Moonriders again, 34. Simon Miller, good old Simon Miller, runs the Friday Frenzy, so look out for those on RGT. Good chap, Simon, top bloke. Linda just getting dropped a little bit there. She's probably not going to have the wheel all the way home. I wonder if Rob Blackburn's going to hold his place. It looks like he might be challenged by Mr. Gillingham here, who's sitting on his wheel very cutely. Linda out of the wheels. She's actually going to try and... She's making up a little bit of ground. This is great stuff, isn't it? I think she might have left it a little bit too late at 300 metres, but she's... visually, it looks like the gap's closing. I'm not really reading the data on the back. She's 12 metres behind. She's not going to make that up, I don't think, now, because it's sitting there. And, Rob Blackburn is probably in danger of getting... He's getting nicked from him on the line here from Gillingham. Yes, Gillingham very cutely sat on the wheel. Rob Blackburn from Twickenham loses his place, and Gillingham takes it. De Alves, Portuguese at 67, so he's just behind Linda Van Dijk, and we've got Gavin Grant will be the next one in, who's just about to, he's finished. Gavin Grant from Twickenham as well, lives in France actually, down near the Pyrenees. P-Tech and Lisa West, another Twickenham rider. Lisa coming in, very, well, it's a teammate, isn't it? So it's two Twickenham riders coming in together, very cool. And Lisa just going ahead and taking those points. Well done, Lisa. Great stuff, fantastic. Lorna Rowland, first timer coming round now, another Twickenham rider, and delighted to see Lorna enjoying the race there, and I think she's probably going to assume that she's at 1 kilometre in front of Claire Thompson, is going to take the points ahead of Claire. So we look at, and we see some of our star ladies in here. So it's Linda Van Dyke, 66th there, just ahead of Gavin Grant. And then we have Lisa West and Lorna Rowland and Claire Thompson all picking up points quite nicely. So Claire coming in at 72nd, for example, is going to pick up 39 points. That is how it works. So all points on the board. Remember, it's your best 6 results that count, so it doesn't matter if you have a bad race. You come back and do it again and get a better one. And remember, if you turn up on a day where there's less riders, you are going to be higher up, because let's say that 50 riders turn up and you come last, you'll get more points than if 70 riders turn up and you come last. So David Buckley in 30th position, Andrew Beale 31st, as we mentioned already. I think Ian Suttersby at 38th. Casper headed him at 39. He'll be disappointed with that. Pat Heron at 40th. I say people will be disappointed. The reality is you're split seconds behind everybody. It was a bunch sprint, and it's no great shame. You know, if you're up against good riders and you're giving it all your all to ride at their pace in the peloton, you probably don't have the legs for the sprint. And even if you are a good sprinter, there's some other good sprinters in there, and your timing and little things like that will all make very small differences, but big differences to the placings. Now, these sprint things do throw up results that mess up the table, although nobody told Wouter Clays that, because he went and grabbed 100 points and will cement his position at the top. Ned Bowen in 12th, losing some places there. So here's Lorna just coming home the last kilometre, and we've got Claire to come after that. Well done, ladies. Please share news of this event. The idea is that the ladies can enjoy a little bit of a tussle with fellow riders from the male race, so they're not all on their own necessarily, but equally we've given them their own opportunity. Now, as we grow this, one day in the distant future, I would like to separate it all out and have women's races, but we'll get the numbers up. So please let everybody know that we are running women's races where you get the opportunity to actually race in a big group rather than a small event, but at the same time all your results are taken out and put into the ladies competition. So it's all to race for. So here we are, Lorna and Claire Thompson at the back. I think Twickenham must have decided to go for that particular kit, mustn't they? I know I was explaining to them that I think Watford went into the shop on the RGT app and chose a kit they'd all wear, and I think Twickenham may have done the same thing here. I'll have to ask Lisa when I speak to her. Well done, Lorna. Fantastic. Right, and of course, just remember, I mean, however much you might look at this and say, I'm on my own, now, she's riding around at 30 kph and putting in a very good show. And I see somebody, Murto's, unfortunately, looking a bit stranded at the back. Alistair McAlpine must have had a technical. That's bad news for Glasgow United. I'm just seeing he's in 76th place. So well done, Lorna. In fact, I'm going to say, Lorna and Claire, you might have the absolute honour of beating Alistair McAlpine. He's a top rider. He's 12 kilometres behind you. Now, I'm sure Alistair's had a problem. And I think what Alistair's going to do... Go on, Claire. It's your last kilometre. I think what Alistair's going to do is finish the race, because he realises that even at 76th, he's going to pick up 25 points. And he rides for Glasgow United, and they can do with the points. So 12 kilometres to go for Alistair, and I think he's going to go for it. Maybe, I don't know. I might be wrong. It depends how terminal it is. In fact, actually looking at it, I think he's not moving. So we'll assume that Stuart Murto and Alistair McAlpine are not going to complete the race, and we are going to enjoy watching Claire come home and pick up some well-earned points. So she's going to pick up 29 well-earned points for Twickenham ladies team. They are the only all-ladies team, and who knows? I think I think we should probably do a prize for them, shouldn't we? There's Alistair. There's Alistair. He's yes, poor old Alistair. He's definitely stuck, isn't he? I think that's his race over. We shall find out, but it sounds like a mechanical. 400 metres to go for Claire, and she's going to enjoy crossing the line and picking up some points for our only all-ladies team. That's Twickenham 2. At some point, I think there is the thought that we might call it Twickenham Ladies, but it wasn't certain at the outset, so it's currently called Twickenham 2, but we can change that, and certainly Moon Riders 2 have become Satellite Riders rather than Moon Riders 2, so name changes are possible. We see this in pro racing, don't we? We get new sponsors and things change, so why not in this? Alistair still not moving by the looks of things. I'm surprised, but I think that must be a real mechanical for him. Bad luck, Alistair. Really always have a little special spot in my heart for Glasgow United with your 2 riders, and you do so well. That's a bit of a devastating thing. Well done, Claire. Absolutely fantastic. I've thoroughly enjoyed being here. I hope you've all enjoyed either watching or racing tonight. I shall now spend the rest of the evening digesting all these results and putting them into standings and publishing them later tonight with the help of David Buckley, of course, as I mentioned. So, Wouter Clay's in first, Doug Hart second, John Samet from Pokemotion in third. Pokemotion doing exceptionally well in the team competition. We'll have to add the team riders together and see how that pans out. Tomasz Poniatowski for Moon Riders, along with Wouter Clay. So the Moon Riders would have picked up some good points. But look, Kader Illumi in 7th for Pokemotion, so they will still have clocked up quite a few. Mike Adey, fantastic result for the man. I think he lives in North Buckinghamshire. Johan Olofsey for Sands, great to have you back, Johan. Tremendous rider. He's been part of the West London racing community since almost day one. James Curry, the star rider from Southborough District Wheeler Bees, they are in contention. Nick Greenhout will be slightly disappointed with 11th, so will Ned Bowen with 12th. Jared Miller in 13th. These are all people competing at the top. Hartveld, Marius Sevelius and Daniel Nujba are coming in next. Matt Hannon, James Melville for Glasgow United. Then we have Yen Linden for Pokemotion and Mark Rowbottom, Ratio Racing. Red Barnett, 21. I bet he isn't, but Tom Moss for South of the District Wheelers next. Remember, this is such a sprint film. We're looking at 4 seconds between first and 40th. It's absolutely nothing. Aussie King is rises for 3 R's. They don't have a team. Scott Christian. I say don't have a team. They do have teams, but they haven't entered a team in this competition. We'll hopefully get you back next time. Scott Christian, and look at that, Anna Ronkainen, absolutely storming. She's picked up 75 points in her first race, and I think that will put her in a very good place regarding the ladies' championship. So well done, Anna. Stuart Gillies from Twickenham. Now, Twickenham have got plenty of ladies in the team with the ladies' team, but Stuart's rides for Twickenham 1, which is the men's team. Kevin Unsworth, another cracking performance. Well done, Kevin. A stalwart of this series. Kristen Edge from Pokemotion, the Dane. And of course, David Buckley in 30th, who helps me out. Andrew Beale, a friend of mine from Ealing. Actually, this is a terrific result. Well done, Andy. Simon Hall and Brian Vince from Watford Velo. Fantastic chap. Simon sorts out the team and has been absolutely superb organising it for Watford in this series. Thank you, Simon, and well done for 32nd place along with Brian there. A great club, Watford Velo. You see their club rides out. It's absolutely fantastic array, all in their black, yellow and red kit. Marcin Schudlerek from Moon Riders picking up some points there. Simon Miller, top guy. Look out for Friday Frenzy, run by Simon for Southborough District Wheelers down there in Tunbridge, Kent. Absolutely fantastic club. They've been part of this for a long time. Jesper Hansen and Ross Collins. I mean, Ian Suddersby and Casper Heddenham. The man who spent so much time on the front, having it settled for 39th. Slightly unfortunately, Pat Heron in 40th. Look out, I'll be on www.westlondoncycling.com later, publishing all of the results for you and all the standings, and you can see what the general classification, the ladies classification and the team classification look like. Coming up in the new year, we have the 6 of the best classification which will be coming up, and some new additions to it in the new year. So keep your eyes peeled on West London Cycling. All it is left to do is say have a fantastic Christmas and a new year. We're back on January the 5th with this series. ZMS, who stream this, are back with lots and lots of races, so look out for what they're up to. And RGT is the place to be. Enjoy your Christmas, get out there, have fun. Thanks for watching.